What's up, guys? It's your boy here, BamBamGrizzly. So, I got a little treat for us today. Today, they dropped another developer's diary for the Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. So, this one's called Emperor's Hammer. We're gonna go ahead and check this out and kind of see how we feel about it, see what's going on here. So, let's take a few minutes and look at this.
Chaos Gate Demon Hunters is set in the Tirteus sector, a cluster of star systems quite distant from the Grey Knight's home base of Titan. You're promoted to acting commander by the ship's veteran purifier, Brother Ektar. Your mission's expected to be routine, and all of those plans are, of course, changed abruptly when an Imperial Inquisitor arrives on board to commandeer your ship and send you off in search of evidence of an impending plague. The hunt for the truth behind the bloom and the battle to prevent it from spreading to the wider Imperium.
So, as a newer 40k player here, probably like about 8 months into my journey, I was already under the assumption that Grey Knights worked with Inquisitors quite often. But when he says commandeer their ship, I mean, I feel like Inquisitors do that all the time, so that's one that is interesting to me.
Is the central conflict behind the game.
The Baleful Edict is your strike cruiser. It acts as a mobile base of operations as you travel around the sector fighting the Bloom's corruption. Each section of the ship gives you access to different systems that you'll need to manage over the course of the game.
The Strategium is where Ektar helps you oversee the conflict against the Bloom. From here you can access the barracks, which houses your knights and allows you to manage their equipment and upgrades. You'll also be able to access the armory, which is where you can review equipment made available to you by the Grand Master Varden Kai. With such high stakes riding on the mission, tension between your crew and the Inquisitor is inevitable. So you'll have to work closely with each of them to ensure your success. Brother Ektar, a veteran purifier with a well-honed sense of knightly duty. You have Dominus Lunette, an ancient tech priest of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who's responsible for tending to the needs of the ship. And finally, Inquisitor Vakir herself, whose ambition drives you further into hazard. As you work together,
This game looks so fucking amazing, like, for real. Like, the animations, I mean, even for being cartoony, they feel pretty grim darky and spot on. Like, this looks good.
to stop the Bloom.
That's all I'm just gonna say that.
The Grand Manufactorum is where you'll find Dominus Lunette. As the ranking tech priest, she's responsible for overseeing repairs to the Edict systems.
Looks beautiful.
Power generators, the warp drive, gun batteries, and more. It'll be up to you to prioritize which systems to restore first, to give you the best chance of keeping up with the rapidly spreading corruption.
The Liberus Malleus is Vakir's temporary home on board the ship, a storehouse of valuable and secret knowledge. Here, the Inquisitor will conduct her research to better understand the Bloom.
The Imperial Inquisition is responsible for hunting down anything that represents a threat to the Imperium's stability. It's organized into several divisions, with the Ordo Malleus and their Chamber Militant, although she enters the story more or less as a complete outsider to the rest of the crew. Her rank as an Imperial Inquisitor gives her the authority to step in and seek out the Grey Knight's help. They are, after all, allies in the Ordo Malleus, but her position on the ship isn't exactly secure. She has to tread a really careful line when she's dealing with Ektar and the other Grey Knights. Although she's a powerful psyker, Vakir is a human, vulnerable to corruption and external influence.
So you will have to balance your limited resources against her ambitious objectives, keeping your squads alive and ready to tackle the next threat.
At first, you can combine 4 different classes to make up your Grey Knight squad. There are Justicars, tough frontline warriors. Interceptors, fast and mobile skirmishers. Purgators, they're heavy weapon specialists. And the Apothecary, a powerful healer and support unit. As the game progresses, you'll open up access to an additional 4 specialized classes, each with their own unique abilities and tactical options to diversify your squad.
One of the biggest challenges in designing a game about the Grey Knights was in capturing their distinct approach to combat. Their war gear is very unique for an Astartes.
Approach to combat is to exterminatus everything. Pretty much.
With melee weapons being a central part of their identity, their battle plan is typically geared towards getting up close and personal with foes.
When fighting at range, you'll still get all the advantages you're used to. You know, things like cover protection, overwatch, suppression, flanking. You can take a shot and you know what kind of damage you're going to do. but our precision targeting system opens up a ton of options for getting down and dirty.
That's awesome. So it's no longer about just shooting the opponent. It's about
In melee.
genius.
To us,
Loving it.
that meant giving you
That's
tactical
really fucking
incentives
good.
to break from cover and charge through hordes of enemies.
By getting in close, you can strike your enemies' weak points to nullify their attacks, break down their defenses, or totally disable their abilities.
That's awesome.
Stun an enemy, and you open them up to a brutal execution that can give your whole squad a momentum boost to continue the assault.
And that doesn't even
They use
factor
momentum
all the
in this
extra
too?
war
Cool.
gear, master-crafted weaponry, and psychic abilities that will open up even more tactical options.
Your knights can be fully customized with over
Look at
30
that.
active, passive, and reaction-based abilities per class. That forces you to make some tough choices as you create the squads.
I must like have a problem, but usually when a game has like trees in it like that, I start getting fucking yeah. Like I'm about that. I like something about skill trees in fucking games, man. The level of progression that can go into those and possibilities. Oh man.
that best suit your playstyle.
Grey Knights are not just masters of blade and bolter. They also have access to a wide range of powerful psychic abilities that can be used to subdue your enemies or provide support to your battle brothers. As the Inquisitor researches the bloom, she will learn powerful psychic stratagems that can be used to support your squads in combat. Used correctly, they can turn the tide of an entire battle.
In Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, we give you all the tools you need to face down fearsome odds, but we leave the battle plan up to you.
Okay. That looks awesome. The thing I keep thinking every time I watch those is like, that would look really good as an MMO. Maybe it's just me. Not the Grey Knights part, but like the whole animations. I think it would look like a phenomenal MMO for 40K, just saying, putting that out there. Since we've yet to achieve that correctly. It looks good, guys. Like I don't know what else to say. Like it looks like everything that most RTS or turn-based games I play have not had. If you know, let me know what you think. Like this, it's good. Like everything looks fun to me. I mean, the game
Thing that represents
To give you the
To the needs of the
the
show.
animations look good. I mean, you know, the story sounds good. So there's a good solid story with the Inquisitor. I mean, good solid story with the whole thing with the bloom. I mean, it looks like fun. The mechanics look good. I mean, literally, like you can pick and choose as you attack what you're attacking instead of just attacking. There's more depth to it than just that. I mean, the skill trees. I don't know if they can see my skill trees. I mean, the skill trees themselves, like, I don't know where they're at. I'm not gonna keep looking. But the skill trees in themselves, they look, I mean, what was it? It was also cards, too. Like, you're gonna, cards to help you improve your guys. Also, I mean, there's just so many different ways they make the game give different levels of depth. Everything I've seen so far, I mean, what's this, like, their third dev diary? Fourth? I want to say. Doesn't really say. But, yeah. I mean, for you guys who aren't really into turn-based games, but really like 40K, well, I mean, I guess you're kind of into tabletop turn-based, but I mean, turn-based like for video games, or if you're someone who's really just into the lore and doesn't really like the game, the tabletop too much, I would still give this a chance. This for what I've seen for these, if you go on Steam right now, like, I'm pulling my Steam. Sorry, hold up. I own just about every it's just installed Warhammer 40 not everyone, but very close. What I don't own on here is probably just on my desktop somewhere. And I'll tell you right now, like, Battle Sector is a good game. Dawn of War is great. It's more RTS based. It's probably the best ones you're gonna get. The Dawn of War game's great. After that, like, oh, there's a few like Gladius. I mean, it's all right. You know, I mean, I feel like they could have did better with the animations, things like that. But like, when it comes to most 40K games, I feel like they leave a lot out. They don't really give you enough depth. They don't really give you enough to make the game fun and interesting. Like, Gladius to me feels just like a multiplayer fucking game mod. Like, it's not even its own freaking, You know, it feels like it's missing a campaign. I mean, I guess there is a campaign technically, but it needs to be better. It could have been better. Same thing with, you know, like freaking, personally, I like Battle Sector. I like the way they put it together. I like the way it runs. I like the way it works. I just don't know if I like the whole mechanics side, or not the mechanics, sorry, not mechanics, the whole, story side to it, where it's just flashing pictures and talking heads. Like, come on, man. We're in 2022. You could give us a little more than that. I mean, legitimately. I mean, you could, you know, give cutscenes. You can give, like, you know, explosions happening. Give us a little more. I understand you're an indie dev. That's cool. But for a Warhammer IP, there's so much more fun you could have had with it than what it is, you know. I mean, and I have my gripes about that too. That game where like you're only releasing 2 armies, and just I don't want to get too deep in that, but overall I do like the game, so I will say that. But I do have my gripes that just annoy the shit out of me about that game. But you know, it seems like every Warhammer RTS game is kind of like that now, where either expansions or DLC with new armies, yada yada yada. Games Workshop's got to make their money. We get it, blah blah blah. So, but overall, guys, this game looks good. I hope it comes out. Doesn't even have to come out. I hope it comes out finished like they want it to. Some DLCs would be cool, even if they just added like some simple things here and there, or like if they made a whole new game. I don't really know how they do it or how they would go about it if you're defeating the Bloom. But this is one of the few games I'm looking at from Warhammer 40K that looks like I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy. I'm gonna feel like it's a finished product, and it just looks like it's gonna be good. So, fingers crossed. Big fingers crossed. I mean, these are big hands, big fingers. So, all right. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night.